32 points on 14 of 17 shooting. He also had 11 rebounds, and he was a huge part of how they were able to snap that 5-game losing streak.
The Bluecoats will have King in the starting lineup, the Sixers' two-way player. So is Julian Champagny. 76er Jaden Springer, the second-year pro, will be in the starting lineup. Mac McClung, Michael Foster Jr. in the middle. Late switch to that Herd lineup. Iverson Molinar starts in place of Jordan Bone because Bone was injured against Capital City.
Yeah, and he was having a heck of a night. He was 6 of 7 from the floor, 17 points, and he had to leave the game with what appeared to be a quad injury and never returned.
Neither two-way available for Wisconsin. Jonte Porter is out as well. The Bluecoats are in the purple coats tonight for this one. Wisconsin in the road white. The officials are Cheryl Flores, Ken Jones, and Italo Araojao. 5 to shoot. Champagny triple. Knockdown.
Well, I went and looked, and I mean, the Coats are playing so well over their last 10, where they were 8 and 2. And shooting has been a big part of it, shooting 51% from the floor over that span.
The Herd keep it. Springer tried to chase it down. Wisconsin with 8 on the shot clock. They're 6 and 12. The Bluecoats are 11 and 5 with their hot stretch. Molinar, the whistle comes in a little bit late for the foul.
It's almost as if Molinar got his wish, looking at the ref and pleading his case just with a face.
Last home game here for Delaware was back on January 24th, a win over Lakeland, which has been part of this good run that they're on. At 9 of 11, if you extend it even further back, wins in their last 11 contests, 9 of them. 2-point free throw for Molinar to get them on the board.
The Herd as a group shoot mid-70s, but last night they were above 82% from the line.
Mac McClung, he's got 3.
So when they were on their road trip, I was going and checking, highlights, and a couple of times he made the top 10 of the night on the G League website.
Maybe we will get a 360 dunk from McClung tonight. That's a long 2 for Rob Edwards. King,
wow.
The third Bluecoats 3 on as many tries.
I mean, he's just feeling it these days.
Formerly number 7 with Delaware and the Sixers for that matter, but he's 23 now. Spins into the lane. Lewis King up and in. Gets off to a good start. Here's Johnson. Half the 24-second shot clock is out. Gives it up to Wigginton, their leading active scorer on the roster.
Yeah, he was averaging 19. He didn't shoot the ball great last night, 6 of 17, but he did a lot of winning things.
Forcing turnovers helped them in that game against the Go-Go, and they just get one there. Paris Bass had a hot start a night ago, but he misses from 3. Champagny nearly the same spot, around and out. Johnson's a rebounding machine, double-double machine, a really good rebounder at 6'8". He takes it all the way.
Look at him going downhill.
NBA veteran of 76 games, former Indiana Pacers draft pick back in 2018. McClung dancing in for 2.
Well, you can score against the Herd. I mean, they give up 122 points per game.
Springer, the steal, and the slam. Jaden Springer, timeout, Wisconsin. Good start for Delaware.
Great start, and a lot of energy.
Hoped for if you're Kobe Carl and his staff and your return to home court for the first time in a number of weeks.
Well, and in that 10-game stretch where I was talking about, they're averaging 13 and a half made threes and shooting 39%.
The cut and the feed, the finish, Hughes. Backdoor cut, good connection with Wigginton. Second three for McClung.
He's getting ready for the rising stars. He was rising and scoring.
Dunk contest. Maybe he'll join the three-point contest, too. He's already out there. Count the basket. Goaltending. Johnson, 2 points. Yeah, Friday night of All-Star Weekend for Mac McClung, the Jordan brand Rising Stars game. And
that's right, I forgot the Jordan part of it.
The dunk contest that he made the G League Next Up game, which is Sunday, their All-Star game. Springer hits one. 5 of 6 from deep, Delaware.
I like that over the last 10, Springer, not only is he averaging the 19 points, but he's shooting 30% from 3, which is an area of his game that gets scrutinized.
The purple coats are everywhere in this one, swarming the defensive end as well. Springer averages almost 3 steals in the regular season. He hit that shot and then was running around over on the other side. And he also averages almost 18 points. He's got 5 of Delaware's 21, and he's guarding Wigginton. Johnson, not really his range. Doesn't take many. King finds Foster, who's fouled.
Well, here you see nice pass from King to the cutting Michael Foster Jr. He'll have to earn it at the foul line where he'll shoot 1 for 2.
So the purple coats here on Mental Health and Go Purple Night, presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Delaware. Springer picks Wigginton's pocket and throws it down in style.
Well, Springer will get you 3 steals a game, and we've already seen 2 here tonight.
2 more for Alize Johnson. Perhaps the flashiest Jaden Springer dunk we've seen in his year plus as a professional. Foster did make a 3 on Wednesday, but he opts to go on the bounce, throws it back up top. Blue Coats have 10 on the shot clock. Champagne's already hit a couple, or he's 1 for 3 now, rather. But as a team, they've made 5. Elijah Hughes, former draft pick by Utah, knocks it down.
Well, the Herd take the most 3s per game, 42. Now, last night they were 10 below that. They only took 32. We'll see what the diet is here tonight.
Foster spins and scores.
I mean, Delaware is just lights out in terms of their offense right now. 10 of 12 from the floor. Wisconsin's going to have to do something defensively.
If you're Wisconsin, you're having flashbacks to having 153 scored on you on January 16th here.
And the other thing, I mean, you mentioned the guys who, you know, they don't have their two-way guys. Joe Wiesenkamp just got signed by Toronto to a multi-year deal.
He was added back to their rotation after a couple of 10 days with Toronto, which certainly helped their cause, and they lose him again to an NBA contract.
And Jordan Bone's big, and Porter.
Bone is a guy that plays almost the entire game, every game, for Wisconsin as a point guard. Jonte Porter is another elite rebounder like Alize Johnson. Those guys are out with injury. And their two-way players, A.J. Green and Sandro Mamukelishvili, don't often, at least so far this season, play with them on the road.
Yep, exactly.
Middle of the first quarter, Springer's free throw got him to 9 points with a 2-point free throw made. The lead is 14. 7 to shoot. Edwards in the corner. Good pump fake. Too strong. Jaden Springer skies up for his second board.
He has a ton of activity to his game here tonight.
Finds King. Tries to chase it down. Johnson has it.
Well, that's a tough pass that Johnson just made.
Same spot. Rob Edwards.
So there are 3 of 7 from 3. I mentioned that they'll take 42 on average. They make 15. So it's a middle of the road percentage.
Step back 3 around and out for King. McCall into the game guarding Edwards. So is Justin Smith defending Alize Johnson. Johnson lowering the shoulder and screams after the bucket.
He's just a tough guard because he's so strong and he's relentless in trying to get to the rim.
26 years old, a standout at Missouri State as a college player. Wigginton showing some hustle, and the Herd trying to climb their way back into this. A lot of game left to be played, and their bench and staff realize that.
We see it all the time. I say in both leagues, but especially in the G League, games of runs.
Charlie Brown Jr. in for the Purple Coats with Pat McCall, Justin Smith, Lou King, and Julian Champagnie. Shot clock ticking down. McCall elbow jumper doesn't get the roll, and Alex Adetokounmpo, the youngest brother of Thanasis, Giannis, and Kostas, on 29 in the white uniforms, got the board. Johnson, his second three-point try, goes down.
Well, it's almost as if Alize knows, you know, we have a short rotation. We're going to have to score in all kinds of ways. What a play by Lou King.
The reason we talk about Johnson, his three-point attempts, is because we're talking single digits, not a guy on the season. Wigginton has one.
Now, again, when you join a team where the three is everybody has a green light, it could change. The philosophy could have been different with Austin.
Champagnie was hit and fouled by Adetokounmpo. Three-point free throw coming for Julian.
I mean, I know Julian's made some threes, but I feel like it wasn't, you know, it was a good contest, and then Alex fouled him almost late in the game.
Delaware's led by as many as 15. Wisconsin back within 5, but Champagnie can stretch it out here a little bit. The one free throw rule goes until the 2-minute mark of regulation, where NBA free throw rules apply, and you shoot them all at that point. 3 at the line. Wigginton with Molinar, Alex Adetokounmpo, Paris Bass, and Elijah Hughes for the visiting Herd. Bass, pump fake, the drive, and the whistle.
Man, I'm just looking like to have given up 34 points to Delaware, and you have 3.5 minutes to play.
That was a big reason why Delaware, a big scoring quarter, helped them on Wednesday in Cleveland to end the road trip. 45 points in the third quarter after trailing by 8 at halftime. Baskets on the score sheet. The feed from Smith. Brown tried to chase it down. It's going with the Herd. Wigginton, right side. Braxton Key now on. The pace is up there inside the arc. Tapped around. Offensive rebound for the team leader in that category. Smith ends up back with Braxton Key.
Well, one of the things that Delaware can take advantage of, and they didn't get it in on the first part of the transition, but Wisconsin gives up 25 transition points, which is the worst in the G League. So, and we know how Delaware loves to push the pace anyhow.
Molinar scores over Brownridge, who's in off the Delaware bench. The Delaware Purple Coats for tonight's game, second annual night, mental health awareness night. Supporting Delaware Goes Purple as well, raising awareness about substance abuse. Brownridge, pump fake, almost made it work.
Wow. Justin went hard for the offensive glass, had a nice attempt at a putback.
Out of bounds, brings us to a break in the action with 2:07 left in the first. High scoring first quarter in favor of Delaware by 4 right now. Thus for some G League action on what is Mental Health Awareness Night. The Delaware Blue Coats wearing purple uniforms as the Purple Coats for the second straight season in support of mental health awareness. Brown gets 2 on the left side. And the cool thing is the purple game-worn uniforms are auctioned off, and the proceeds support Delaware Goes Purple and that initiative. And I saw the prices, the auctioning already climbing before this game was even played. You can get any Bluecoats players game-worn jersey on the Bluecoats social media platforms. Bass with the lay-in. Mac McClung was the leader in the clubhouse.
Not surprised.
Smith slams it after the foul is called. Key drew it.
The foul was called first, right? Braxton will go to the line. Yeah.
Looks that way, yeah.
Yeah, the foul's there, and then here comes Justin Smith.
I said he's the team leader. He, coming in, has had 33 offensive rebounds. So he's not the leading rebounder by average in the regular season, but he gets the most on the offensive glass. And he's been trying to add to that total in this first quarter, and he's successfully done it so far. The hammer from Bass. Brownridge steps in. Back rim. Defensive rebound. Approaching the final minute of the first, and Molinar all the way.
Well, Matt, the one thing, Lou, you had a 15-point lead. We get that there are runs, but we've talked about Wisconsin giving up 40 points. The fact that Delaware has given up 38 will be something Kobe will talk about in between quarters.
Looking to tie it. 3-on-1. It's Hughes. The game is tied. Over the shoulder feed from Iverson Molinar, who made his 5th start of the regular season tonight. No Jordan Bone and others for the Herd. Charlie Brown, air ball.
And you will look and see that Delaware is shooting, 50 plus from the floor, but the fact that Wisconsin is shooting 67% is of issue.
Second night of a back-to-back for Wisconsin as Braxton Key is called for a foul. That stood out to me that Capital City shot 60% in their loss last night in the front end of this for Wisconsin.
And the other thing, and we're seeing it here tonight. Now, right now, Wisconsin has 22 points in the paint. Last night they had 62. They averaged 45. I mean, that was above and beyond, and they still made 13 threes.
Playing a little out of character. And
part of that could be their personnel.
Right. And giving up 40 points if you're Delaware, out of character like we're talking about, because during this winning that they've been doing, they've actually climbed to the 3rd best defensive rating in the G League. They've climbed into the G League's top 10 for the power rankings. They're currently, as of last week, number 5 up in the power rankings. Shout out to Joe DeProsperos with NBAGleague.com, who does those every week. Tied up, McCall, the fight for it on the floor. It's a jump ball. or 10.1 rather left in the first quarter. 3-second difference between the clocks. And there's no name on the jersey for that Wisconsin Herd player, because that is Jair Grayer, who was picked up from the available player pool and wasn't with them even yesterday.
Definitely didn't play, and I didn't see him in the building.
Right, that's what I meant. But here we go. 4 to shoot. Brown connects.
Oh, what a great off of a jump ball to get that bucket to close out the quarter.
Hughes traveled.
Outstanding.
There might be a couple tenths here as the Bluecoats
throw it at the rim.
Retook the lead on the Brown 3. Their 6th made 3 of the quarter, 6 for 11.
I mean, you're halfway to that number I said during this last 10 games, where they're averaging better than 13 makes.
Wisconsin erased a 15-point deficit already in this one, 0.2 of a second. Shot didn't get away in time. End of the first quarter. Bluecoats by 1 over Wisconsin. Alize Johnson with 11 points for the Herd. Jaden Springer with 9 for the Bluecoats wearing purple tonight. We'll be our crew, BFA Sports, Rowan University. I'm Matt Murphy along with Dee Lynham. The Bluecoats are the purple coats tonight in support of mental health awareness. Wisconsin in white. They erased a 15-point deficit in the first. The Bluecoats made 6 threes. Wigginton. His triple is off. Johnson the offensive rebound. 11 first quarter points for Alizé Johnson. Double teamed by McClung. Spins baseline. 7 to shoot. Adetokunbo. He spins into the lane and loses the handle. Foster comes away with it. They do call the shot clock violation.
Yeah, so a 5th turnover for Wisconsin. Good job by Delaware and their defense. Wisconsin last night only had 12 turnovers, but they forced a ton.
McClung's got 8 already. 2 threes on 2 attempts inside the arc. Count it for Mac McClung. Double figures already.
I think people are starting to perfect the art of how to draw the foul. I mean, we'll take a look. It looked like the bucket's going in no matter. Actually, no, that one was definite. Wigginton came right down across his face.
10 points for McClung, the first Delaware player to double digits. His first miss of the night is a free throw. A minute into the second, Johnson shovels it off for Grayer. Recovered by Brownridge on the steal, but he turns it over to Wigginton, who dives in for the score.
Wigginton's just scrappy. Oh, I like
Charlie Brown's off to a good game in this one. Wigginton was part of that and one barrage that these two teams had, where there was 4 or 5 4-point plays in the first half when they met on Martin Luther King Day. Jair Grayer, skip pass to Edwards, 8 on the shot clock. Euro step into the lane, gives it back to Grayer.
I'll be interested to see if they can keep the pace, both of these teams, of what we've seen to this point. And not just the pace, but the hot shooting.
Delaware, the most possessions per game, leading the pace category in the G League. Wisconsin not far behind, 4th in possessions per game. Foster, the coast-to-coast jam.
I mean, I will say this. People in attendance tonight are getting entertainment end to end.
Wigginton fouled on the drive again. He's one of 3 starters out there with Alizé Johnson and Rob Edwards, and they're joined by Alex Adetokunbo and Jair Grayer for the Herd. Lindell Wigginton played at Iowa State. He's from Canada. Teamed up for a couple years at Iowa State. Both of his seasons, Mariel Shayok was on the team, the former Sixer in blue coat. Talon Horton-Tucker, another NBA guy, was his teammate for a year. So was first-time All-Star Tyrese Halliburton, now of the Indiana Pacers, who, as it happens, Tyrese Halliburton is a native of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where the Herd are based.
Yeah, where they're based.
So Wigginton, an Iowa State guy like Halliburton. Mack has 12.
Perfect from the floor, excluding his 1 free throw.
He averages a team best 18.3 points per game. Wigginton's got it going, 11 for him now. Foster, short on the straightaway 3. Adetokunbo already with 4 boards.
Foster was a little further out than his last attempt.
Ten on the shot clock for Edwards, who finished his college career at Arizona State. Passes to Wigginton, only 4 to shoot. For a rolling Alex Adetokunbo, blocked away. Johnson, offensive rebound. He shuffled. Shot clock violation first.
Yeah, they reset it at 14, thinking they touched the, well, assuming it did, and it did not.
5 rebounds for Alizé Johnson with the 11 points. He has 5 straight double-doubles. This his 7th game as a member of the Wisconsin Herd. The trade with Austin was on January 28th.
And Matt, his numbers have gone up, and they were good before the trade.
Foster working underneath. Johnson rebounds 6. Brownridge got his hand in there. 4-on-2. McClung, they'll keep it. He thought he was fouled, but they didn't call it.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. And let's take a look. Well, he came from behind and got ball. I mean, you might feel the presence of a body behind you, but I think that was clean.
McClung and Foster, the two members of Delaware's starting group currently on the floor, joined by Brown, Key, and Brown Ridge. Bottom of the net, Mike Foster.
Delaware right now, 19 of 33. They're shooting 57%, Wisconsin 63.
A rare miss, as the purple coats possess. Jared Brownridge, who was honored before the game, his jumper too much on it. He surpassed 2,000 career points during their road trip. Edwards hits this time.
And Matt, I know it sounds crazy, but it's not like these guys aren't trying to play some D. You know, they're trying to contest. They're getting back in transition.
Foster found Brownridge. He hits. Every time you look up, both teams over the 20 field goal made mark already, not even midway through the second quarter. Oh my goodness. Hughes.
Well, I do know Wisconsin has the record for this season, made 23 threes in one game. We'll see which of these two teams even gets close to that one possibly tonight.
Key's three almost went down. A foul against Foster will send the two teams to a timeout. That might be the only thing that can cool them off. We're tied at 5. Back, second annual night where the Blue Coats are wearing purple coats in the NBA G League. Of course, the Blue Coats, the 76ers G League affiliate. And it is Mental Health Awareness Night, and the proceeds from the jersey auction benefit Delaware Goes Purple. And you are representing Delaware Goes Purple. Based on last year in this event, first of all, great basketball game so far, but how does it feel to be back here at Chase Fieldhouse for it?
It's awesome. The energy is amazing. There's so many people here. We're really thrilled. So many vendors. So it's just great, and we really are appreciative of both Highmark as well as the Fieldhouse and the purple coats tonight, right?
Right. Tonight, of course, presented by Highmark, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Delaware, and it's obviously a very important night. Mental health awareness, raising awareness around substance abuse, and everything is tied together on a night like this. So a great cause, a really good crowd on hand. I think it's worth reminding people about the origins of Delaware Goes Purple. Anyone who didn't tune in last year or maybe is watching from out of state or something like that. I know it was founded back in 2018, but
absolutely,
what else is there to know about Delaware Goes Purple and where it's at and where it's heading?
Well, it had originated in Sussex County, but it's statewide now, and there's a big momentum really by the Lieutenant Governor and the state to make sure everybody is aware. There's a lot of stigma associated with addiction, right, or mental health, and we need people to say it's okay to go and ask for help. It's okay. Everybody struggles. After that pandemic, a lot of people, a lot of mental health issues, a lot of substance use. I mean, our overdose deaths have still spiked. And so we've got to do something because that's preventable.
Peggy, because there's a number of high-profile athletes in many sports that have come out with sharing their own stories of their own struggles.
Absolutely.
Has that helped?
I think so, yeah, because back then, a lot of times we didn't understand that the opioids they were given when they were injured were addictive, right? I mean, this originated because of a basketball player. And so I think it's apropos, really, that we're here. We're talking about the stigmatization of addiction, substance use. But, kids don't start it. I mean, fentanyl is laced in many of these drugs, and it kills you. And so, 50 to 60% of all overdose deaths in Delaware have fentanyl.
It's a huge problem.
It's a huge problem, yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you, because with a game like this, and these jerseys will be auctioned, the fact that you're seeing such highlights, do you think it'll kind of boost the bidding because somebody's saying, wow, I want Mac McClung's jersey. He just had that awesome play.
Exactly. Well, I hope so. But, one of the things to think about is that one of these young men, they could go to the majors. They could go leg up, right? And if they do, their jersey's going to be purple. It's going to be different than their blue jersey, right? So bid on them, get them, because in the future it could be worth a lot of money, right? And it goes for such a good cause.
Such a good cause.
Such a good cause.
We'll be right back. We're with the Blue Coats are putting on a show against the Wisconsin Herd right now as the Purple Coats. We were talking about the connections between Delaware Goes Purple to basketball, and you said it originated with a basketball player, and that it really, I've seen you say that it centers around Chris Herron's story. So what type of impact did his story have on you and Delaware Goes Purple?
Well, I think his impact is across the nation. He's doing a lot of prevention with kids, which I think is really important. We got to start young, right? But then when he came here and he shared that story in Maryland, they had started this Maryland Goes Purple initiative, and we said, do you mind if we do it? There are the entire state of Maryland, the entire state of Delaware, other states are getting on board because it's a simple message. This color associated, because one kid stood up and said, I decided to be drug-free, and they got bullied. And he said, no, I'm going to use the color. The girl was wearing a purple shirt, and he said, we're going to go purple. We're going to stop this stigmatizing, this bullying, and we're going to start looking at substance use disorder. And that's where it started. And he's been a huge person behind the prevention and intervention movement in the United States. But we're just carrying the torch because we need kids, we need families to get behind this.
Peggy, let me ask you, because you said prevention is part of it. The education of understanding, I think you think you're doing something harmless possibly, and you brought up fentanyl. The education of knowing you can't control what you're getting.
No. You don't know when somebody hands you something, what's in it.
Correct.
And you're taking a risk every time you use anything that you're not familiar with, right? And so, I think what happens is people get addicted over-the-counter medication. Narcotics because of pain or others.
Sure.
And then when that stops, they go out to their corner pharmacist, is what I call it, and they don't know what they're getting. It's not prescribed. And if you find that you're addicted, if you find that you need help, there are ways in Delaware to get that. They have so many resources. You can go to the Delaware Hope line, which is 1-833-9-HOPE-DE. And they'll get you into some form of treatment, talk to somebody, help you out. There's also the Help Is Here, Delaware.com. It's a one-stop shop in Delaware for services. If you want to get help, there are people who want to help you. Yeah.
The team's trading baskets again. The purple uniforms for the second straight year here at Chase Fieldhouse. On Twitter, go to @blue_coats, @Delaware Blue Coats on Facebook and Instagram, because these purple coats that they're wearing tonight, special day raising awareness of mental health resources available in Delaware, as well as the contributing factors of substance abuse. The proceeds benefit Delaware Goes Purple. We're here with Peggy Geisler, enjoying our time together for the second season as the Blue Coats have a 5-point lead on Wisconsin. Julian Champagnie can't extend it, but Justin Smith can.
Peggy, there's a good crowd on hand for your actual night. We talk about it, just starts by reaching and touching people, and to have a good crowd is a good start here.
It is, and we're passing out these pledge cards, so it's easy. Anybody can go online under DelawareGoesPurple.com. They can sign the pledge, be part of the movement. It's as simple as being aware, talk to your kids, talk to your friends. Everybody knows somebody who's suffered with addiction or maybe even passed away from it. Yeah. You can be part of the change that's going to happen. I think it's really important. Or if go out and get trained on Narcan. Everybody in the state should be trained on Narcan. We should all know how to save somebody's life. It should be as prevalent as CPR.
Are there any other events coming up that you guys are part of?
We start to get really wrapped up. It was really nice of them because of the season. We get ramped up in September and October. And, we did a Rockin' for Recovery concert last year, and I'm not going to say anything about that, but we're thinking about that might be coming back.
Okay.
And we're thinking about doing something up here in the north. So stay tuned for that in the future. Look on the lookout. In August, you'll start hearing a lot of different events going on. And if your organization wants to get involved, you just reach out to us and we'll get you all set up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I think we should do the Hope Line one more time. And, of course, the website is DelawareGoesPurple.org. But let's do the Hope Line one more time.
Yeah, the Delaware Hope Line is 1-833-9-HOPE-DE.
Lewis King with the dunk. The Bluecoats lead by 11. Peggy Geisler, thank you so much. As the second quarter gets to come to a close soon, we'll let you get back to it and mingle with everyone here tonight. We really appreciate having you and you joining our broadcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peggy.
Again, Delaware goes purple in the house tonight. Mental Health Awareness Night presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Delaware, and one opportunity for Lindell Wigginton.
Well, while we were talking to Peggy and Lewis King, his steal and bucket, highlighting as we see Wigginton yet again attacking the paint. That Delaware comes in, they are tops in the league in steals, more than 11 per game. They already have 7 here in this first half.
Individually, as the numbers started to go up during this quarter, McClung has 18, Springer up to 15 for Delaware, King with 12. 4 double-figure scorers, including Wigginton, for the Herd. He has 14. Paris Bass has hit a couple of threes to get to 14. 11 for Johnson, still hasn't scored in the second, and Hughes has 10.
Well, what's interesting is, so the Herd have given up 75. I mean, yeah, they've given up 75.
Whoa, Springer says no. Calling for it on offense in transition. Jaden Springer up to 17. First half points, the block and the bucket.
Matt, that's another stat that has stood out in this 10-game span that they've had. They're averaging 6.3 blocks.
Up to 3rd in the league in blocks per game. They do lead in steals like we so often talk about. 8 on the shot clock now for Wigginton. It's over to Bass. 3rd three.
Wow. So you have 10 made threes for Delaware, 9 out of 18 for Wisconsin.
Oh, Smith in close, missed the bunny, and it's blocked by Bass, who's met by King, blocking foul.
Wow.
Foul on King, his first foul. I think it's worth noting, D, 77-70 right now. That January 16th game, afternoon game on MLK Day, that 153 scored by Delaware was the most scored by anyone in the G League this season. But Wisconsin holding their own in the scoring department against a very good Bluecoats defense, and the shot making has simply been incredible in this game so far.
It's unbelievable.
Second missed free throw for Wisconsin, both by Bass, who's 2 for 4 at the line, 3 for 5 from 3. Springer's got 17, second to McClung's 18. Make it 20 for Jaden Springer in the first half.
And I mean, we're saying lights out for everybody, but 8 of 10, 2 of 2 from 3, couple of steals, a block. Jaden's enjoying this Purple Coats night.
3-second difference between the clocks. The shot clock is now at 5 as he guards Wigginton. Into the lane, foul called. 5.4 left in the second quarter.
Well, I mean, Wigginton has just been on attack mode. And I mentioned how last night they, as a group, were well above what they average in terms of points in the paint. So they had 62, they averaged 45. As you can imagine, because they've scored 70 points, their points in the paint are 32 already here.
The Purple coach trying to go quickly. McCall at the second quarter horn. It's off the mark. But still, the Bluecoats wearing purple, leading by 10 over Wisconsin. An 80-point first half for Delaware. Up by 10. Thanks. The Delaware Bluecoats hosting the Wisconsin Herd, the Philadelphia and Milwaukee G League affiliates, respectively. Matt Murphy, D-line 'em at BFA Livestream, at Rowan Sports Cam. Jaden Springer has 20 points already, number 11 in the purple, the special purple uniforms tonight. Wigginton's jumper is off. Jaden Springer's career high in the G League, he's on assignment from the Sixers again, is 30. So he's closing in on that number with 20 in the first half. Foster went for the strong righty finish again and drew the contact.
So Delaware will get their 6th free throw attempt of this game. I went back to look at what was the halftime score on Martin Luther King Day, and Delaware had 76 that day, 76-67.
Jeez, they're having bad flashbacks, Wisconsin, from that day. Finished with 153. 2-point free throw for Foster, who gets to double figures with 10. Starting groups for both sides. Wigginton, 14 in the game, give him 17. Special purple uniforms tonight on Mental Health Awareness Night. They'll be auctioned off to benefit Delaware Goes Purple. Springer's first bucket of the second half.
But so fundamentally sound to come across that paint, have the 2-foot jump stop, and being able to go to a strong hand.
It's Edwards in the corner this time. Springer picks up the rebound. Had a couple of steals in the first half with the high scoring total. They give it right back to him in his first miss from beyond.
Plus he had that great block.
He's good for 1 block, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 2 steals seemingly every time he suits up. Champagny got a hand on it. He has 6 points. Wisconsin playing without either two-way contract player from the Milwaukee Bucks, Sandro Mamukelishvili and A.J. Green. Neither of those guys available to them. And they also are without Jonte Porter and Jordan Bone due to injury. Joe Wieskamp was signed to a multi-year contract by Toronto. So their rotation has gone 8 deep. And that's it tonight.
And that's including the new guy,
Jair Grayer, yeah. Foster, another right-hand hammer. The Herd take time as the Purple Coats continue to roll. Not even 2 minutes into the third quarter, and the Blue Coats lead by 13.5 in Brooklyn, 60-52. They're third in the East. They had a nice comeback against the Knicks at home. They needed a win. They couldn't afford to drop too many.
Yeah, because that would have been 3 in a row.
Now they've got a Brooklyn team that looks way different after the trade deadline. Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun now. Kyrie Irving is a Dallas Maverick. And they have a lot of 6'6" to 6'8" wings making up the team. But sometimes those teams are hard to play against.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to not necessarily in the same fashion, but the Detroit Pistons, when they had a Chauncey and a Rip and a
Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun Prince, thank you. Tayshaun, you know, obviously Rasheed, but they were done by a group, and I think that's what right now Brooklyn's going to look like.
Villanova product. Mikal Bridges ends up in Brooklyn, and he's available tonight to the Nets, as is Cam Johnson, another wing they got in that trade.
Yeah, I think most of those trades, the guys didn't play the first game available, and then they have been out there.
Bridges hasn't missed a beat. He had 14 in the first half.
I mean, if you're Brooklyn, I don't know how Mikal feels about it, but if you're Brooklyn, that's a great get. And I've always been a Spencer Dinwiddie fan.
Dorian Finney-Smith, another new acquisition from Dallas that's kind of a similar player, defensive-minded guy. Here in Delaware, Jaden Springer has been the star of the show so far. He's got 24 points, 20 of which came in the first half. He's already scored twice since. 11 in purple tonight with the specialty uniforms. Foster has picked it up as well.
Wow, that's a pretty good move by him to be able to secure the ball. Wasn't a great entry pass.
Blue Coats shooting 59%. Both teams shooting 50 or better, and both 50 from three-point range right now, 50%. As evidenced by the score. Mac McClung, 20 points with a chance for more.
Well, he'll go to the line. That's actually one of his few misses is at the foul line.
He's 8 for 9 from the field after this.
Looks like he's going to dish it off. He uses his eyes to fake it and then goes with the scoop shot.
All right, so I promised Super Bowl talk. I was looking back at some Mac McClung stuff. When he was in the transfer portal out of Georgetown, Patrick Mahomes actually recruited him to Texas Tech on Twitter, sent a tweet to Mac McClung and said, come to Lubbock and try to win a natty national championship. And McClung did indeed pick Texas Tech. And, of course, locally, the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Mahomes and the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57 tomorrow.
We won't put McClung on the spot and ask him who he's rooting for there.
Wigginton short Springer, 5th rebound with the 24 points. I think it's going to be a high-scoring Super Bowl, although the Eagles' defense is phenomenal. Champagne's second 3, he's got 9.
I think people don't give the Chiefs' defense enough credit. You know, they were ranked 2nd behind, at least 2nd in sacks, I should say.
I'm sure as Bass floats at home, 19 points for him, I'm sure you've had to give a prediction on the radio by now. Do you have a score prediction for Eagles-Chiefs?
I don't know if it's going to be the same because I had to give it last week.
Okay, you can change it up. There's no rules.
There's no rules.
Hughes, transition lay-in.
I mean, I feel like the Eagles will win because I do think in the trenches they are the stronger, and across the board that they have where they're the better position players. But I think it's going to be closer than this city has made us feel. I'm going to say 31-24.
I like that. I'm going to go a little higher scoring, 37-34.
You're probably closer.
I don't know, though, because the more I think about the Eagles' defense, and maybe if the Chiefs are being discredited, it could be lower scoring than everyone expects. But I think it'll be a good football game. King, 14 for him now.
Well, the reason I think you might be closer to the truth, if you are the Chiefs, I think you prefer that Jalen be throwing the ball as opposed to running the ball. And running the ball is how they could eat some clock, which I think the Eagles would like to do.
Philadelphia would go crazy for a second Super Bowl in 5 years. Jaden Springer will get a rest. 24 points on 10 of 13 shooting for him. 2 for 3 from 3. 2 for 2 at the line. Or excuse me, 1 for 1 at the line on Springer's 24-point night and counting. He came in averaging almost 18 in the G League. His career high is 30 as a G League player.
Oh my gosh, they are 2 away as Bass gets another bucket, but we're sitting on 98 points for Delaware.
Bass with a chance at a 3-point play. He has 4 3-pointers already in the game, and 24 points matches Springer for a game high. Of course, leads the herd in scoring. Wigginton next with 17. Hughes has 12 off the bench.
And you see that both teams have 21 fast break points. I told you Wisconsin gives up the most at 25, and they still have a quarter and a half to play.
On the fast break, out to King. Now Champagnie to get to double figures. Rolls off to Paris Bass. 8 rebounds now for him.
That was McClung doing his Mahomes impersonation, getting it way ahead down the line to Charlie Brown Jr.
So Bass is a 73% free throw shooter, but he's struggled tonight. He has 3 misses already on 5 attempts.
Well, Michael Foster Jr. made sure he wasn't going to have a N1.
3rd foul on Foster. He'll be replaced by Braxton Key. After Springer for the Bluecoats, McClung has 21. Foster and King have 14. Another miss at the line for Bass. 2 for 6 now at the free throw line for him. Key around Grayer out to McClung. Comes up way short, looked over at the official. The Bluecoats keep it their way for a moment. Bass the steal, shovels it to Hughes. Champagnie might have gotten there, but Bass on the follow.
That's why you always have the trailer on the play. Matt, going back to the last play by Mac McClung, where he falls to the ground, you really do need to be careful not to do that all the time. Officials don't appreciate you like trying to sell something that they know isn't there.
This time it goes for Mac McClung.
I mean, he's just not going to get that call again because unless it's egregious.
The previous possession was his first missed three. After the make, he's 4 for 5 from downtown, 24 points like Springer. The starting backcourt doing their thing.
And now they're just letting them play across the board.
He gives it up. Champagny, the easy flush. And they extend the lead back to 19. It's been as high as 23. And the need for another timeout.
And the Bluecoats already
on the road. They've got a long road trip, but because the G League follows the NBA All-Star break, there's a break for them coming up. They started a 6-game road trip last night in the nation's capital where they beat the Go-Go 141-130, a high-scoring game that night. High-scoring again, to say the least, here tonight as Wigginton gets into the lane, out to Bass. He's hit a bunch of threes. He's now 4 for 7 and a foul on the floor. But after this, Wisconsin will go to Cleveland on Tuesday on NBA TV. That game will air. And then they have 10 days between their next 3 games on the road.
So it looks, if you just say, oh, they're at.
I don't think they'll stay on the road for those 10 days.
No.
They'll have Texas, the Legends, and then Salt Lake City twice, which is the site of NBA All-Star Weekend. The Bluecoats have another home game coming up against the College Park Skyhawks. We'll have that one on Monday night at 7 here at Chase Fieldhouse. Lindell Wigginton will shoot 1 for 2. Former Iowa State Cyclone, averages a team best 19.6 points per game. When you, among active players, they don't have their two-way players on the road with them. He's got that number tonight, 19 points so far. Bass ties up Brown, and the Bluecoats, Purple Coats tonight will keep possession. It is Mental Health Awareness Night, uniform auction on the Bluecoats social media platforms. You can get your bids in. The proceeds benefit Delaware Goes Purple.
Matt, you always keep me honest on the schedule. I had forgotten that we play here on Monday.
The Atlanta Hawks affiliate, College Park, coming through. And then they'll head into the All-Star break, will the Bluecoats. Foul on McCall. Wigginton going back to the line.
Going back to, we'll take a peek at, we've seen this so many times today of Wigginton just trying to split defenders, attack the paint, get to the rim, and in fact get to the foul line.
21 now for him. On this side of things, for the Purple Coats, all 5 players who started the game have scored at least 10 points. Only one of them out there right now. McCall, the corner triple.
Yeah, the 14th May 3 for Delaware.
McCall gets on the score sheet. King, the lone starter, guarding Molinar. The nifty spin and finish. Iverson Molinar, who played at Mississippi State, 23 years old. Got the start in place of Jordan Bone, who's been so reliable for Wisconsin. Went down with an injury last night against the Go-Go. Not available. One of a handful of Herd players not available. Charlie Brown Jr.'s 3 is off, so Chasen Allen has gone with an 8-player rotation tonight. Not by choice.
I was just going to say.
Against Kobe Carl's Purple Coats. Adetokunbo's 3, no good. Brown Jr. with pace and the foul against Molinar.
Well, we take a peek again. Just keep putting the pressure on Wisconsin's transition defense.
Charlie Brown, 7 points off the bench for the Philadelphia native. Bluecoats' depth has really shown again in the regular season. Again, the G League season being split up. They were kind of working things out. An 8-10 Showcase Cup record, and now they're tracking in great fashion where 6 teams will make the playoffs. They hold the number 2 spot in the Eastern Conference. right now, and it's almost a similar vibe to last year when they made the finals in both parts of the season and won the showcase.
It really is. And I like the categories that they're really, I mentioned the assists, the steals, the getting up there, 4th ranked defensive rating, all of that is trending in the right way.
Braxton Key, who scored, helps in all of those areas for the most part. He was added to start the new year when Roddy Peters was let go. Former Sixer Braxton Key for a short time last season. One of a record 9 call-ups that Delaware had in a fantastic campaign. Alize Johnson has his first points since the first quarter. 13 for the game with 11 boards and 6 assists.
Matt, I'm just keeping an eye, but this is 16 here with 3 minutes to play. As Antetokounmpo tracks it down.
First basket for him. And Delaware wants to talk it over as it gets within 14. They'll head to the huddles. We will on the road. A lot of them are in school, and they were watching the games on their laptops during school, paying attention at the same time, of course.
I'm sure their professors loved it.
But they hang out in Section 6 here at Chase Fieldhouse.
I love it.
And they have helped the team this year, for sure. Edwards with his second foul. 2:44 to play in the third. Edwards, Bass, Wigginton out there with Hughes and Antetokounmpo. Meanwhile, for Delaware, Smith, McCall, Brown, Ridge, and Braxton Key with the basketball. 10 on the shot clock on the Key drive. Got the roll and the foul call.
Well, that's so Braxton Key because, he hasn't had a lot of shooting opportunities here today with so many other people shooting lights out. But to attack the basket, I'm glad to see he's just tying his shoe and he doesn't look to be in any kind of distress from falling.
It was an awkward landing for him, but he's staying in. Braxton, I always mention his birthday around this time. He is turning 26. He's the guy with the Valentine's birthday that we talk about every year because he's been around the Bluecoats, but he'll be 26 on Tuesday because Valentine's Day is, of course, coming up. The Charlotte native, Braxton Key, missed the free throw, and then a foul is called against Delaware on Brown. Bass sent back to the line where he's missed 4 of his 6 free throw attempts. 27 years old, played college basketball at Detroit Mercy, and he's got 28 points and 10 rebounds already. Averages 17 and 7.
There's going to be a lot of people who have impressive statistics in this high-scoring affair.
2:20 left in the third. The Bluecoats have 110. They like the purple coats. Key for 3.
Yeah, so that'll get him close to, it does get him double figures.
6th Bluecoats player. Good balance for Kobe Carl's bunch with the coaching staff of J.P. Clark, Isaiah Fox, and God Shamgod Jr. The foul was on Justin Smith. There's a look at the bench. Nick Coyle, the head athletic trainer on the near side end, said that the assistant coach whose scouting report it is the one who shuffles into the chair next to him, and that sometimes they're a little too loud for his liking when they're calling out all the opposing teams' sets.
Stop.
Hughes a little slow to get up.
Yeah. We'll take a peek. He did try to, while he was outside the circle, try to take the, I always think you should put your arms up, protect your chest.
He got called for the block there.
Yeah.
Blocking foul, that is. Brown's free throw is worth 2.
I mean, his feet moved because I don't think he, set himself strong enough to take the hit.
Coates with 1:15 and 1:50 to play. Bass throws it down hard.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a game.
kicked out of bounds. Purple
30.
coats ball.
Yeah, so last night it was Alize Johnson that had 32. Now it's Bass here tonight.
Still another quarter left.
Right.
Could be 42. And meanwhile, Springer and McClung sitting right now for the purple coats with 24 apiece. Thrown right to McCall. Interception in honor of the Super Bowl. Brownridge catches and shoots. His miss knocked through the baseline to Wisconsin. Bass with Adetokunbo, Wigginton, Edwards, and Hughes to close out this final 120. Rob Wigginton fouled.
I thought that was a good play by Brownridge.
Active on defense tonight, Jared Brownridge. He's got a couple of deflections and, of course, known as a three-point shooter. He's made one of those. Long time Delaware purple coat, blue coat.
He was honored before the game for his longevity.
Look at that sign. Braxton Key.
Menace on D.
Braxton averages a little more than a block per game. His 2.1 steals are tied for the third most in the G League on a per game basis. Here he is on the offensive end. Good ball movement. McCall's three is corralled by Brown, going back to him. Wigginton has the pass tipped to him on the steal. Wigginton bounce pass. Paris Bass, he's filling it up. 34 and counting.
Going back to the steals, I believe Springer is in the lead. Chris Dunn is second, but Chris Dunn would lead the G League with total steals.
Have to do the math because you have to play 70% of your team's games when they compile the leaderboard. Nifty finish for Smith. This is Springer's 12th game of 16, so I think he's good, right?
No, he is. He's definitely there, but when you go to totals, obviously he hasn't played near the games as Dunn.
Shot clock turned off.
Oh,
Brown Jr.
Nice finish with the left hand. That's a nice skill to have. You're coming across, going to the left side of the lane to be able to finish.
5 seconds left in the third quarter. Wigginton's fadeaway comes up short, and that's the end of the quarter. So the Blue Coats, as the Purple Coats, being led by Springer and McClung with 24 each. Paris Bass is up to 34 points for Whistler.
And to tie the 153 that they had against these guys in January, you would need 34.
They are the Purple Coats tonight on Mental Health Awareness Night, presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Delaware. The jerseys from this game will be auctioned off. They're actively being auctioned off on the Blue Coats social media platforms at Delaware Blue Coats, and the proceeds benefit Delaware Goes Purple. Second annual night like this. Brown, pure from distance. 16th made three-pointer, 48% for Delaware. 3 back for Hughes, his third.
Wisconsin's made a couple of runs when they've gotten down. We'll see if they have another one in them or if Delaware can stretch.
That they can. Braxton Key with 13 off the bench. Jaden Springer, by the way, is at the table, you can see. Ready to check back in on 10 of 13 shooting. A couple of threes. Team high 24, tied for a team high. Brown throws it up for Foster, who gets it out to Brownridge, who nails the three.
And another kick-ahead pass. Like they've discussed this. We can do this against these guys. They just don't have the transition D.
An up and down game in Delaware. Edwards, pump fake, bounce pass, Johnson for 2. The fans want a dunk from Mac McClung, who's expected to take part in the NBA Slam Dunk Contest this month as a G League player currently on the Blue Coats roster. Key, another strong finish through contact, a carbon copy of a couple of his drives tonight.
Well, what he did in the third and now what he continues to do here in the fourth, he was patient. He let the offense come to him. His turn has arrived, and now he takes it right at Alizé.
15 for Key, who averages 11 since rejoining the Bluecoats. He was on a two-way with the Detroit Pistons and the Motor City Cruise. 14 NBA games of experience, now with 16 points. 130 the Bluecoats have scored in purple unis tonight. Springer the foul, his second, will send Bass back to the line.
Well, that surpasses Bass's career high, which was 35, and that was a 2 for 1. I mean, a 1 for 2.
Good stick.
Do my math correctly?
A career high 36 points for Paris Bass. Springer is looking for a career high. He'll have a chance to tack on 2 more after Johnson fouled him. He's got 24. The number is 30 to get to.
Since everything we hear right now is about, as we look at Springer, I like how he stays low to the ground. Keeps people from being able to like swipe that ball, but the number of different ways you can have friendly wagers on the Super Bowl.
26 for Springer to lead the Delaware Purple Coats.
So basically I'm saying, as we see another 3 made for the Herd, I think Springer surpasses the 30.
Okay,
If I put my dollar on it right now.
Acrobatic attempt, McClung to the line next. As he didn't get the finish to go all the way home, but he usually converts those, and he's 9 for 12 now from the field. I'm sure they make the decision on if he's going to go. It's a back-to-back for the Sixers, but they're in Brooklyn, and he has a chance to come down here and rack up the minutes, and tonight rack up the points.
Yeah, the key will be on Monday. Will he be with the Coats or will he be with the Sixers?
Home games coming up for both teams on Monday. The Rockets come to South Philadelphia to play the Sixers, and it will be the College Park Skyhawks coming to Delaware.
Oh, nice block by Michael Foster Jr.
One of the best in the league at blocking shots. Was looking for Springer, who had his back turned. Turnover.
Well, and it looked like Springer was going to the corner because McClung was also running with them, and so leaving McClung a chance to fill a lane.
The G League, the development side of this thing, that's a 20-year-old looking for another 20-year-old. Right. So they're in the Sixers pipeline. Of course, Springer on the Sixers roster. Foster was on a 2-way contract earlier in the year, brought back to Delaware. The organization, of course, has a chance to keep an eye on the entire G League roster, NBA contract or not. Hughes has had a good shooting night, 4 of 8 from 3 off the bench. The Syracuse product shoots over Foster, fouled.
And again, you got to give a guy the space to come down. And Foster Jr. was the one going forward into Hughes.
I don't know if Chase and Allen like the call, or maybe he's just motioning. He's just motioning to his guys. Or he would like the call because it's his guy. Yeah, right. So, of course, he liked it as Hughes leaves 3 points on the board with the miss. Mac McClung, the hesitation. They got Wisconsin Grayer on the personal.
Grayer's befuddled. What? You're going to see him. He gets him with the body from behind him. I see what he's... But McClung is such an attack mode guy. It happens so fast. There's 3 white jerseys around him.
6+ more minutes of the 1 free throw rule. That gets McClung to 28, the most for the home team. He's had a couple of 40-point games at home. Bass has 38, closing in on 40 himself.
Bass has done it in multiple ways, making threes, getting to the rim, getting above the rim. The only way, really, he's struggled at the foul line.
Julian Champagnie travels, the Sixers two-way player. Sort of a two-way official making the call in Cheryl Flores, who is in her first season as an NBA official. But the deal is that when you get promoted, you do up to 4 years of select G League games as well. So Cheryl Flores is the crew chief tonight, an NBA official in year 1. Makes the call again.
I like that idea.
Considered one of 14 recently elevated G League officials to the NBA who are within that 4-year window that can do games here. $40 points after the free throw for Paris Bass.
Will somebody on Delaware catch him?
It'll have to be McClung or Springer, 28 and 26 respectively. I don't know if there's enough time left, but if they have a hot shooting streak, perhaps.
Yeah, a couple of threes.
Springer tacks on 2. He's got 28 like McClung. Three doesn't go for Wigginton.
Same team.
Ends up with Grayer, who scores for the second time.
That was Foster and Springer, I think, both fighting for one ball.
This backcourt tonight, Springer and McClung started next to each other. They both scored 28. Exciting basketball, but a turnover was a problem for Jaden in the last game. He had 6 steals, but he had 6 turnovers. I say that so casually. He had 6 steals. That was Wednesday. The Bluecoats have had some time off. Second night of a back-to-back for Wisconsin on the road. DC and Delaware. They won last night, snapping a losing streak. Hughes reaches 20 points.
Look at McClung. His energy has not waned.
Purple Coats ball. They are in the midst of having won 9 of 11. This would be their 4th straight win. It's a 32-game regular season post-Showcase Cup. They're 11-5 right now, second best in the East, behind the Long Island Nets, who are 16-3.
Yeah.
Dominant defense, rolling right now on Long Island. 3-on-1, the lob for Paris Bass, the easy flush. 42 for Bass now.
Well, if you're Delaware, you don't want Wisconsin thinking they can get themselves back in it. The lead is 16, but Wisconsin saying, you know, there's 6.5 to play here. We've done this before.
McClung, 3 points plus the foul. He's over the 30-point mark on a fantastic night.
Well, I said it was going to have to be obvious for him to get the whistle on these 3-point attempts when he's falling to the ground. And this time, I think, absolutely, he drew contact.
Can we talk about his shooting? He's at 46% from 3 on the regular season. And tonight, 6 of 7.
Yeah, I mean,
for 32, he's got it.
and when you say, you know, to get to the next level, most times they have their scores, but when you have a skill set where you can, in spurts, knock down threes, that's a specialty.
Every year in college, so from Georgetown through his Texas Tech years, that 3-point percentage went up by a couple of percentage points, 2-3 percentage points each season as a college player. He was the G League Rookie of the Year with the South Bay Lakers. Falling away, Wigginton was looking for contact. By the way, McClung's an assist away from a double-double on a night where the team is shooting it so well. 62% from the field, 18 of 35 from 3, 51%. He's got 9 assists.
And I said they have been, you know, in the last 10 games, they've been averaging 30 assists. They're sitting on that with just under 6 to play.
The hook shot rolls through for Justin Smith. 144 the Blue Coats have scored. 153 is the season high.
Oh, the forced 16th turnover.
Springer with speed forces another timeout. He's got 30. The Blue Coats closing in on the high scoring total in the league, in large part Mac McClung's 32. Jaden Springer's point for a new career high as a G League player.
I love it. You can't go anywhere right now in Philadelphia or the tri-state. Yeah, tri-state area.
They had the chant going out of the timeout.
I've even seen on the news where kids who are maybe a year old, they're singing it in their cribs.
Bass not to be overshadowed tonight. 44 points on 14 of 21 shooting.
That should be in.
Mac, it's in. 35 points, his 7th three. His career high is 44. Bass is cooking. A long two, it's called, for 46. Career night and adding to it. Blocked by Grayer. McClung on the drive. It's a 3-on-1. Grayer to Wigginton. .153 is the most points scored by any G League team. It was the Delaware Blue Coats on January 16th. Same court, same opponent. Springer enters it to Smith, who will go to the line.
I have to say, that is one thing about Jaden. He's a willing passer. I know everybody is expecting him to, show me what you can do in terms of being explosive, getting above the rim, learning how to make outside shots. But the willing passer and the defense he brings, I think, should not be understated.
McClung gets a nice hand from the Section 6 family. With 4:08 to play, he checks out in favor of Aminu Mohammed with 35 points, 9 assists, 7 of 8 from three-point range. Smith, after the missed free throw, uses the glass from a similar spot. 151 for the Delaware Purple Coats. Again, don't forget to go to the Blue Coats social media channels. At @blue_coats on Twitter, at Delaware Blue Coats, Facebook, Instagram. You can bid on the jerseys from this, what could be historic scoring night. All the players on the team, the game-worn Purple Coats uniforms will benefit Delaware Goes Purple on Mental Health Awareness Night, presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Delaware. Lewis King will check out, so resetting the 5 as it's Sekou Doumbouya in for Delaware. The number 15 pick in 2019 by Detroit steps onto the floor with Mohammed, Smith, Champagny, and Springer still out there with 30. Needs a single point for a G League career high. The Paris Bash show nearly continued. Stays at 46 points with 11 boards. Here is Jaden Springer looking for a career high. Mohammed, second effort.
And there they are on that 153 from January.
Edwards hits from deep. So if it's Springer to score, he can accomplish two things: the team scoring total and an individual best at this level. It's Justin Smith on the alley-oop. 155, a G League season high as a team.
And if you're Chasing Allen and the Herd, you had some great runs. You gave it a really solid effort on a back-to-back night with a short rotation. But at this point, you're ready for the 3 minutes to go by.
Grayer plus the foul on Springer. Still 2:52 to play. But the Purple Coats have surpassed the Blue Coats record of scoring. Talking about the same organization here, the same team, of course, but they're wearing the special uniforms. They break their own record of 153 set on Martin Luther King Day against the Herd with 155. Still nearly 3 minutes to go, and try to save some of this for Monday against the Skyhawks.
Keep the streak alive. Get a 5th win on Monday if you can.
Yeah, that'll be going for win 5 in a row. This is their 4th straight, their 10th in 12 games. Mohammed showing his skill. Played at Georgetown, a native of Nigeria. His 8th appearance of the regular season. Aminu Mohammed, former McDonald's All-American.
Hughes tracking it down.
Elijah Hughes comes up short. Doumbouya collects another rebound. Sekou was born in Guinea, raised in Paris, France. Springer takes a trip to the line. It'll be one free throw still.
Yeah, still 1 for 2.
One shot for a career high. The pressure's on in a 23-point game.
I'm glad you corrected yourself there, Springer.
There's no chance he knows that his career high. I don't think there's a chance he probably knows, unless they told him on the bench what he's going for. He knows he's had a good night.
I think they all know they've had a good night. I think you can feel when you shoot 63% as a group.
Jared Brownridge, his 3rd 3. 160. Still 2 to play. Looks unusual on the board.
20 made threes for the Bluecoats. Antetokounmpo.
Runs into Sekou, who committed the foul.
Sekou on the ground holding his.
The guy who committed the foul, Sekou Doumbouya, and received, unfortunately, the elbow as well, was really happy for Jared. There was a clip posted to the Bluecoats social media channels of them all celebrating that they were calling him JB2K. Wrote it on the whiteboard, did Sekou. The number 2 and 3 players on the all-time scoring list for this franchise in Delaware have had pretty good careers so far as well. Christian Wood has had a lot of NBA success now in Dallas.
I was watching Christian Wood because I watched the first Kyrie game the other night.
He played for Wisconsin too, in the G League. Did Christian?
And he's stayed now in the NBA and has done quite well for himself.
3rd is Haywood Highsmith, who has turned himself into a Miami Heat rotation player on most nights.
I think you got to love when you can talk about success stories of the development and how sometimes it takes longer than maybe you anticipated.
Mohammed gets the roll. Springer at this point is out with the 30 points, tying a career high. McClung sitting with 35. He has 2 40-point outings this season, 40-plus point outings. Bass has 46. He gave it up with the pass to the corner. Wisconsin will keep it. Paris Bass, 15 of 23 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, 6 of 10 at the line, 46 points and 11 rebounds. That's a game-high scoring total because Springer and McClung kind of balanced each other out a bit on their amazing nights. Bass for 49 doesn't go. 1:15 left in this 27-point game. Brownridge looking to tack on. Mohammed's given them good minutes down the stretch.
And you like when a guy who's at the, end of the bench gets some real playing time, or, I'm not going to say real. That says only 3 minutes. It feels like he's been out here longer than that.
Well, that delay for the challenge was about 5 minutes in itself.
Well, good point.
2 shots for Bass coming. Foul on Brownridge as we're under 2 minutes. NBA free throw rules. He has a chance at 50, but it would be tough.
That's a pretty good.
That should be 40. Should be 48.
It is. It's a little slow. You're quick.
He might have seen the board lighting up behind there. Says 46. They're shortchanging him a little bit on the only stat boards in the arena, but he needs 2 points for 50. Paris Bass. shattered that career high you mentioned earlier of 35. It's his third G League season. He's a native of Birmingham, Michigan. 2 NBA games with Phoenix last year on 10-day
contracts. You're right, they still haven't updated that. And he and Jared Brownridge are kind of yapping with each other.
It's been all Aminu Mohammed late. Good for him.
You got to like that his teammates are identifying that he's on a good little roll right now. 4 of 5 of 6 from the floor.
This is
10 points in 3 minutes.
Good G League team he's on, and he's only 21. So he's just starting his professional career.
He's going to go for more.
Went for the high-flying finish. Recovered it. Now Smith. Jump stop, can't score, tipped up to Wisconsin. The shot clock's off. They throw it down to Bass. 50 points for Paris Bass tonight in Delaware. Mohammed looks like he's going to hold. So Wisconsin in the loss is really excited for their guy Bass.
Bass is his stats have not been updated here, which is...
They think he's still going for 50 on the court.
There it is.
That's why that leak out was so important to them, because the in-arena board has 48. The official stats have 50, but they think he needs 2 more. He'll be happy to see the printed box score if it confirms 50. It's a final in Delaware, a record night, 166-139. The Purple Coats over the Herd.